Today's video, we're going to give you examples of 10 questions that you can ask in an informational interview or questions that you can ask in a formal interview. And now you want to get these questions right. Make sure you ask questions that are not easily researched on Google and questions that are not the obvious questions that most people ask in an informational interview or when they ask in a job interview. Welcome to my channel, Start, Grow, Pivot. My name is Adivia Foley and I am the founder of Start, Grow, Pivot, a career strategist, a master at building connections, and a new immigrant to Canada for the last 5 years. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that like button because you're going to love what we have in store for you today, and subscribe to support the channel. So the questions that you ask in an informational interview can be just as important as the answers that you give, because it shows three things. It shows that yes, I've done my company research. It also shows that I have a very good understanding of the job role and the expectations of the role. And then it also shows an interest in the person that's interviewing you and an interest in your company. We're going to break these questions down into 5 key areas. So the first area is company research. Now here are some questions that you can ask around company research. And they're mostly questions that show the company research that you have done, and you're just looking for more information to demonstrate how much research that you have done into the company. One of the questions in company research that you can ask is, you've noticed that the company has achieved a particular milestone, or you've noticed the company has launched a particular product or a new service, and you want to understand the role that the department played or the role that the person played in this launch. Now, they may have not played any role at all, or they may have played a major role, but this gives them an opportunity to talk about a good accomplishment that they have achieved, and it also shows that you have been keeping tabs with some of the company's biggest accomplishments. One of the biggest setbacks and one of the biggest blocks that newcomers face is that most hiring managers and recruiters are nervous about their knowledge of the company. They're nervous about their knowledge of Canada and Canadian customs. And so you want to bring questions that show the depth of research that you've done, and to show that you're the kind of person who's taking it a step further to really get to know what the company is up to in a Canadian setting and in a Canadian context. This is the second question, and this relates it back to the COVID-19 times. You could say something like, 2020 has been a challenging year for your company, and I wanted to understand what are some of the ways in which your company has pivoted to address the pandemic COVID-19, or if you've heard or read some research, or you've read some headline about something that the company did, you want to understand what it took for the company to be able to pivot. If the company has done something really interesting or done something really pivotal in their response to the pandemic or to COVID-19, this is a chance that you give the interviewer to talk about it. So the third question is around the company growth, or the company's ability to expand into a new market or into a new country. And this is a question that you can ask, that I've seen that your company's ability to do X has made it possible for your company to take leaps and bounds, or to make these inroads into this new area, into this new market. So this is where you show them that in my research you found that the company was able to use a particular strategy to help it grow into a new market. And if it's something that you have experience with, you can also bring that into your experience. What is a new market that you're excited about that the company is going into? And so you found a way to ask them about something exciting, you found a way to compliment the person, and you also found a way to bring in your experience into asking that question. This question is around the company's ability to grow new clients, or the company's ability to acquire new clients. And so this is a client-facing role. This is a question where you say that I see that your company has a market share of this, or I see that your company has struggled to gain new new clients in this area or new clients of this demographic, and what are some of the challenges that you face. In my experience, we have done a number of these campaigns, or we've done a number of these things in order for us to get this. So this is where you really want to find a place where the company is struggling. And if you watch our other video about SWOT analysis, you can take a SWOT analysis to the company and find a way to ask questions around the threats and the weaknesses of the company. And if it's an area that you have experience in, or if it's something that you have been successful at doing, you can bring that into your question. These set of questions are around the job knowledge. So these set of questions are the most important questions that you can ask in an informational interview or in a formal interview. You are demonstrating the knowledge that you have of the job. And in every question that you ask, you have to find a way, a very smart and savvy way of bringing in your experience and bringing in your strengths and bringing in your skills. So one example of a question that you can ask is, what are some of the milestones, or what are some of the big goals that your department is looking to achieve in the next 2 years, and how do you see this role playing a part in achieving those goals? Now, if you've had an informational interview, this question is key because you can find out what the goals are or what the department is trying to do. The role will be contributing to the growth of the department. And then when you bring this question into a formal interview, it would change to be, given that your department is looking to do X and X, what are some of the things that you want me to do in the first 3 to 6 months of the job if I were to be given the job? So now you've got some very key information from the informational interview, and you're bringing that into a question in the formal interview. And this is a great way to impress your interviewers. Remember that you're interviewing as a new immigrant against so many different Canadian candidates, and you have to outshine them by showing an in-depth knowledge that you have of the company, and in-depth knowledge that you have of the ability to hit the ground running and get started. Another question that you can ask around your job experience is trying to find out from the interviewer why they called you, what it is about your profile that sparked their interest. So you can frame the question by saying something like, from my X years experience in the manufacturing industry, or from my project management experience in the construction industry, what was it about my profile that you found the most relevant for this role? So this is where you give them a chance to let them know what it is that they see in you, because most of the time you're not sure what it is or why exactly they called you for the role. And sometimes the answer might surprise you. They might say, oh, it was this experience that you did there. And then once you have that question, you can weave that into some of your other answers to strengthen that thing that they saw about you that they found so relevant for the role. Another skill you want to demonstrate in your questions that you ask in an informational interview or in a formal interview is your ability to storytell. Here is where you ask a question around your skill sets, around your strengths, and around your interest in the role. And you would phrase one of the questions around tools that they use or skill sets that are important. So in my previous roles, I have used my Excel skills, my this skills, or I have used these tools, I have used Salesforce. What are some of the tools that you use in this department, or what are some of the tools, or what are some of the skills that someone who will be successful in the role will need to be able to demonstrate right away? So these are the kind of questions that you always start and preface the question by saying what you have experience with and the tools that you are well versed in, and make sure that it refers back to tools and skills that was mentioned in the job description. The things that is important in hiring in Canada is the company values, and companies are always looking to hire people that resonate with their values, people that live into their values. And so you would say, when I was looking into this company, your value of collaboration was really important to me because that is one of my key values. And what are some of the ways that your value of collaboration or your value of entrepreneurship or your value of connection shows up on a day-to-day basis, and how does that value resonate with you, or what is your favorite company value? These are the questions that you can ask in making a connection, and also in storytelling. You're telling the story of the research that you did. You're telling the story about a value that resonates with you. You're showing something, you're showing a personal connection that you have with the company, and you're also working to establish a connection with the person who is interviewing you. Now, you want to get as much information from them about what it is that they're looking for. What is it that they need? What is it that makes someone successful in the role? And what can I do to help you? A hiring manager is hiring a role because they want to bring someone on because there is something missing in the team. They're either overworked or there's a skill that they're missing. And sometimes it's very difficult to list all of the things that is especially needed in a job description, because job descriptions are sometimes just a template that are passed on with a few adjustments here and there, and they don't tend to give the full story. So make sure that your questions really get to the meat of what they're looking for. And in an informational interview, you can get as much information as you want and as much information as you can from the person. So stay tuned for that next video coming to you next week. Like this video, subscribe to support the channel, and check out the next video on Ace Your Job Interview series. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video. Bye!